think she's 60.
Hmm.
She had a kind of tough, you know,
Aunt Helen?
yeah.
Why?
Well, she was young.
Yeah.
Her mother died,
Oh, yeah.
living in a crummy farmhouse.
Crummy farmhouse.
How old was she when your mother died?
I think she was 16.
Oh, so she died
Yeah.
when about that age. And by then, were all the other kids gone?
Yeah.
So it's her and her dad?
Yeah. Her and her dad lived on the farm for a while. Now Alice, Margaret, and Ellen, they live close by, you know, within a few miles. You know, but so she had a tough growing up,
Yeah.
tough time.
And
That's the way it was.
what year did you leave the farm
I went
to the cities?
19. I left week after Pearl Harbor Day.
Week-
December. That was December 7th, Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
I left a week later.
Oh, so
That
you
was
left.
1941?
41.
41.
So you left right after Pearl Harbor.
Right.
Did you leave because of that, or did you
No,
were you planning
no.
to leave anyways?
No, I
So you're 24.
had to save on money for transportation. We came down on the stock truck,
Yeah.
Stordal cattle truck.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to go on Sunday, December 7th.
Yeah.
But they closed the yards because of the Pearl Harbor thing.
Sure.
So they didn't take any cattle.
Yeah.
So then they went the next Sunday.
Yeah. So you're already planning on going.
Yeah.
Why were you going so close to Christmas?
We didn't have much Christmas.
Yeah. Not a big deal.
No big deal. No money. You know. Family was kind of scattered.
You stayed with your sister Margaret, right? Didn't you stay with Margaret when you
Mar-
went down?
Margaret was up there, wasn't she?
No, when you went to the cities.
No.
Who did you stay with?
We rented a house.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The three of us.
But Margaret was down there then, wasn't she?
No, she came later on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she came later on.
Well, so she came to the cities and then ended up going back home.
Yeah. Yeah, she came later and worked. Then she went back. And then she met Francis. And they got married.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Hmm.
Well, you know, I had this other sister, Shirley,
Oh yeah.
and she was handicapped.
Yeah.
You know.
Encephalitis, right?
Well, I really don't
It
know.
looked like, from the pictures, it looked like she had encephalitis.
Something like that.
Not encephalitis, not encephalitis. What's the water?
Hydrocephalus.
Hydrocephalus, sorry. Hydrocephalus.
Probably.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was an extra load on Margaret.
Yeah.
Because Evelyn was gone, she got married.
Yeah.
Alice was gone, she got married.
Yeah.
So Margaret kind of had to take over there. And then finally she had a chance to go to Faribault.
Which was the state hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she stayed there till she died.
Yeah. So I mean, could Shirley communicate much at all?
Not really,
Not really.
no.
Could she
No.
take care? Could she take care of herself at all?
Well, probably 50% of the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably. But she had good times and bad, you know.
Okay.
I mean, her life was up and down.
Yeah.
But she had a good home in Faribault.
Yeah.
You know, took good care of her. Yeah. So,
Huh. So your dad had was farming then that section on his own before he got married. But was that all tillable at the time, or did he have to take and cut the trees down and
He
everything?
had to cut some trees,
Yeah,
and then part of it was considered pasture land.
sure.
It was good for grazing.
Right,
It wasn't any good for crops.
yeah,
It was a good grass for grazing.
So you
yeah.
had cattle?
Cattle. Yeah. Cattle and some sheep.
What would you do with the cattle?
Well, he'd sell some milk,
Yeah,
cream,
yeah,
and then eventually he got rid of the cattle.
yeah.
You know, too much to take care of. So, and then, you know, everything was getting old. You know, and he wasn't able to really recondition everything.
Yeah,
The barn needed reconditioning. And the house got to the point where it needed, you know, work.
yeah,
And then the farm work, you know, he couldn't handle it.
So after you left, he was on his own.
When after I moved to the city, sometimes in the summer I'd go up there for a week, you know, and help him repair fences and repair stuff, you know.
yeah,
But I had a job, and you know, I wasn't going to go back to the farm.
right. Right. Then he came down to the cities.
Right.
Did he rent out his place then, or sell it, or,
They put it in Cell Bank.
oh, the whole
It
thing?
was a good deal for him. He was lucky
Wow.
because he got a pretty good income. All you do is pay the taxes, you know. So, so it turned out he could live pretty well.
So the
And
government
then,
just,
and then he worked for a little bit, and he got some railroad. I don't know, he didn't work too very long, but then he quit there, and they gave him a pension,
Oh, is that right? Railroad pension.
and then he worked somewhere else, William Box and Lumber in St. Paul
Yeah,
on Wabasha.
yeah,
He had a lumber yard, and they made parts for gliders,
yeah.
wood parts. He worked there for a while, and then I got him a job at North Oaks Golf Club. He was a night watchman,
Yeah,
and he could live right there. He worked there a while. And you know, pretty soon, he quit, gets a check from Social Security.
you said you got him a job at the golf course?
Yeah.
How'd you do that?
I knew somebody there,
Yeah,
just talked to him, sure. So then he wound up with his soil bank check. All he had to do is pay taxes on the land. And then he got Social Security, and then he got something, a railroad pension,
railroad pension?
you know.
life was good.
Well, he had money in the bank,
Yeah,
finally.
And then eventually did the land get sold to someone?
Yeah, after he died,
After he died, then
Yeah.
you sold
we
it?
sold it, sure. Well, the sisters they didn't want to do anything.
Mhm.
You know, I often wondered why they didn't go there and operate the land, plant crops, because we had some good land.
yeah.
I don't know, they just didn't want to.
Because it wasn't that far away from their
No,
land,
not
right?
very far.
Hmm.
But they just didn't want to do anything. So anyway.
Well, I thought you held on to the land for quite a while before you sold it.
Well, it was a few years.
Yeah, because I remember when you guys ended up selling it.
Yeah.
I don't know, I wasn't very old, but you must have
Yeah,
held
but
on.
even after my father died, yeah, we hung on to the land for a few years.
Because I remember going up to the homestead and
Mhm.
when we found the windshield for the Model T
Yeah, in the woods.
in the woods. Yeah, I remember that. We still have that windshield somewhere.
I don't know where the windshield is.
I don't know where it is either. Somebody has it. Maybe John.
Yeah, those people, they had a tough time, but, they lived, they were happy. They seemed to be satisfied, with what was going on. They knew they were always going to be poor, but they handled their money, what little money they had. They handled it well, and we lived well. We ate well. We had good food.
You said your dad was like the county
He's a township clerk.
township clerk.
Township clerk.
What did the township clerk do?
Well, okay, that's an area that's 6 miles square, right?
A
6 miles.
township is 6 miles square, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And of course, they had to take care of the road occasionally, grade it.
Yeah.
They had to take care of the culverts and so forth, make sure the water drained.
Yeah.
And they collect little taxes. And they ran it like a business. When they had the meetings, and he was always elected town clerk because he could read and write. See, some of them guys couldn't. If they could read, they probably couldn't write. They could write, they couldn't read, whatever.
So he could read and write English.
Yeah, he could write. He wrote pretty well, And then they'd have the town meetings, and then my mother put on a big meal, some kind of a pork roast or beef roast or meatballs, big home-baked beans, homemade rice pudding with raisins.
So people came to the meeting
And
for the
them
meal.
guys, and I think that's the only reason they elected him town clerk. They knew they were going to get a good meal when they come to
Good meal out of
meetings.
it.
And he kind of enjoyed it and probably got maybe
Paid a little bit.
maybe $6 a year. I don't know, not very much. But he could read and write, so a certain amount of writing to be done. He had to write out some checks or vouchers, they called it. And
So where did he learn to read and write?
Norway, I guess.
But then he just learned the English when he came over.
Yeah, he could write pretty well.
I remember seeing his postcards. they were written phonetically,
Yeah, right.
like a Norwegian wrote them.
Yeah.
A little kid could read them, no problem.
I mean, and these were goody guys, and Dad did make home brew beer. And one time he'd made a batch of beer and had it in the cellar underneath the living room. And sometimes that beer would get a little wild. And one time they had a town meeting, and they're sitting on a table in the middle of the living room, and pretty soon there's a pop. Then you hear another pop.
Oh, no.
The beer went a little wild. Started popping the
Start
caps.
popping the caps off.
So some of them weren't drinkers.
And they didn't want to be seen drinking anyway.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That's some pretty good old guys. Lived back in the wilderness. Ed Olson, I remember him. Gus Druid. Gus Druid was single. And he probably worked and had a few bucks. So whenever the township guys would get paid something, and Gus Druid would he'd pay for the voucher. He'd buy the voucher. And then he'd hold it for interest.
Mm-hmm.
It might be $3, $6, $8, I don't know what.
Yeah.
And then there was, Little Cedar, Gustrud. Oh, there was somebody else. Oh, Engevik. Irvin Engevik.
Engevik.
Think of it.
But,
Were these your proverbial Norwegian bachelor farmers?
well, they had families.
Okay.
And Olson, he didn't have any kids. But he lived in the wilderness, really wilderness. And then there was Gustrud, he was single, he was a bachelor. Then there was Engevik, they were a family. And then there was Olofsson, I think, is another one. But you know, we kind of liked the days when they had the town hall meeting because we knew we're going to get some good food today.
They couldn't have had them very often, huh?
Oh no, I suppose every 6 months maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. So it was a party day. That's all right.
Yeah. They accused my mother of showing off.
Yeah.
You know how good she could cook.
Were they normally on a, well, I suppose every day was a weekend almost. It could have been any day of the week, huh?
Well, there was a certain time.
Yeah.
It was set ahead of time
Okay.
by the county.
All right.
And there was a certain dates they had to go by.
Yeah.
And then election day, then of course, they'd have to be there till 8 o'clock. They'd have to count the ballots. And then they'd have to put them in these big envelopes. And they'd have to seal them with and melt the wax,
Yeah.
you know, and a big stamp.
This was done at your house?
Yeah. You know, so when they were sent in to the, I don't know if they went to the county or the state, but anyway, they were sealed.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have these twistums, you know,
Yeah.
and then they'd melt this wax
Yeah.
and then put a stamp on it.
So the elections were done at your house.
Yeah.
And then your dad would have to monitor the elections.
And then you have to monitor those. And then count the ballots,
Yeah.
get them ready so they could go in the mail the next day.
Yeah.
And there's a procedure
Sure.
you had to follow.
And because he could read and write, he probably
You got the job.
got the
But
job.
he liked it. He liked doing that. You know, he liked it.
Because it was social, do you think?
Well, yeah, but he liked doing it.
Yeah. Was he pretty social? Your dad?
Oh, yeah.
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 Like having people around?
Oh, yeah, he liked to have people around. Sure. Yeah. Oh, them are the days.
Well, why don't we stop here for now?